Hello and welcome to my series Fluttery Clutter-free Secrets. Giving you wings, fly, Madam Butterfly. I know that title is a little bit extravagant and I would love to know how you like it. I had two other ones and I'm kind of testing this one, and I figured I might keep the other two for, another series if I declutter again in the future. Or maybe I'll kind of strew them in here and there. But my name is Leah, and as you can tell, this is decluttering series. I had a few things to add to some videos I have already made, and then get into part 2 of how to declutter your wardrobe efficiently. So I have to say that I have just filmed the whole thing and then found out that my camera still only films for 5 minutes, so 25 minutes of footage are lost. So I will try and replicate that with this. And the first point kind of has to do with the video I did, the charity video where I was showing the bag where I brought lots of things to charity, and I mentioned, and it had been in here, so you can see how free it now is. Well, you can't because you haven't seen it before, but it's a lot of free space and more will go to charity. But I was so clear on what still brought me joy and what doesn't, and these still do. And this, eBay doesn't let you, like, it kind of makes you, it relists for you even if you don't want that. So now I have to wait, or I have to pay for the ending the listing, and if you're doing that every time something doesn't sell, you're actually only making a loss. So some people might not want that, but eBay just makes you. So that's why I have to wait with some of these, but I'm pretty sure I can empty this box too, so there'll be more space. But the whole point was actually that I wanted to share with you what I learned, and I learned from how much more honed my sensitivity was to what brings me joy and what doesn't. I learned that we sort of have a right to experience that joy, to allow ourselves to experience joy, and I wanted to bring that to you as well as a suggestion, because there's no meaning, like, I tried to sort of try to convince myself that I didn't need this anymore, and try to talk myself out of keeping them, and there really is no point, or there was no need for it. And that's something I learned when I had the whole bag to take away to charity and things to follow. Then there really will be more space afterwards than not. Even if I keep these two things. So it felt very good to know that, and to instinctively know it so quickly, and really put things in the bag, what I needed to take, and did it, or wanted to. And I didn't used to be like that. So I wanted to just to repeat the point. You have a right to experience joy, and you can allow yourself to do that. So that's really only 2 items, so it's like, it feels comfortable and it's real when you choose to keep what brings you joy, when there were so many more things that didn't, whose time had come to be passed on. So I hope I clarified that point enough. I hope that if you didn't know that yourself yet either, that it will spark some joy in you. I think sometimes we think we know something, but when you actually learn it in deeper depth, you really understand it, and yet you don't have the better words to explain it other than the same words. But this was one of the things I wanted to tell you. Then I wanted to pass on something, which there's this, I think he's general or sergeant or some person, who says, if you make your bed in the morning, then if you achieve nothing else in the day, you've already achieved one thing. You've made your bed. And I wanted to add to that making a bed in the morning, or making our beds, well, obviously in the morning, tells us that it's like saying you deserve the day, because we make our bed when we get up. So you have chosen to take on the day, ready or not. You have chosen to take on the day. So that's when you make your bed, when you chose to take on the day. We do that by getting up. And so, like, this morning I felt that making our bed is telling ourselves that we deserve the day to come. Well, not the day to come, we deserve the day that is to come. We are worth that day. So that's one thing to make making the bed more fun. I know it could be even more perfect, but that's that. And then I wanted to tell you, also I don't know if there's any way to recover, because the kittens, because it's getting dark, slowly. If there's any way to recover the other video, in which case you might be hearing this twice. But I kind of, well, then it's a little recap. But I wanted to try and film this before I never do it, because I don't think it's recorded. I think it recorded and then deleted and then kept only the last 5 minutes, which is really silly. I don't understand why cameras do this, but I wanted to pass on to you and I said as I filmed it that the time will come anyway when, you know, even though it's embarrassing, when I will show you the before. So we might as well go there now, at least a little bit, while talking about this. That I wanted to tell you why I said dress life instead of my ideal wardrobe, because last time, I don't know if last time I read out to you what my wardrobe goals are, or my ideal wardrobe would look like. I know it says in the title wardrobe, but really it's altogether the dress life. So consider it as a part of your life, an area of your life, and it's not just about the clothes or the space as in the wardrobe. It's actually, or wherever you keep your clothes. It's actually about how you want to feel getting dressed, how you want to feel when wearing the clothes, how you want the wardrobe to look like, yes, how you want the clothes to look like, but also how you want to feel getting dressed, and how easy or simple you would like, or stress-free or not, you want getting dressed to be for you. And it's all those things, so it's like an area of your life. So let's consider it that, and therefore I wanted a phrase for it that would incorporate that, rather than just being about the things or the space alone. And so I came up with your dress life, or getting dressed life. But dress life sort of sounds better because it incorporates getting dressed. And yeah, so I mean, we take all of that into consideration, and that makes it much clearer where we actually want to go with this, and how we actually want that area of our lives to be. So yeah, enough of this embarrassingness. And that was something I had told you in that video, which got lost. And then, ta-da! Then I would like to head into what the last 5 minutes of the video are about, and still from. Yeah, you can possibly hear the background, the rain. I was gonna say groan, the background. But now we are ready to head into part 2 of how to get your ideal wardrobe, or you know, how to declutter your wardrobe efficiently. And the other bits and bobs were kind of, I didn't really have a space of a video in which to put them, because the videos they were originally from, they never happened, or got deleted, or things like that. Well, mostly never happened. So, or I forgot to mention it in the video they belonged into, so I just threw them in here. But trying to ease the reflection out, but it's not working. So what is step 2? We did step 1, as I mentioned, and if you haven't watched that, then please feel free to do so. And I've since also written about how I want the home to be and my ideal phone. But I read that out to give an example. And one thing I wanted to also say, or would have liked to say at the time, then it wasn't on my mind, was because it felt personal, but because I was reading out only one, it was, well, comfortable or not, it was enough to do it. And I was like, there's no going back now. But it's yeah, and it is a personal, it's, I mean, our home is, you know, where people live their private lives, and where persons live, and it's personal. So choosing these, it's not that there's something wrong with it or anything, or that it's too personal, but it's simply personal, because it is a personal choice. These are very personal choices, how you would want your space to be, to look like, to feel, to smell, etc. So these are very personal things, be it the wardrobe, or be it the house, or be it anything within the house. Oh wow. So yeah, it's personal, but I stretched myself just one time because I wanted to give you a good example as to what that actually looks like and what I actually mean by it, like really writing that out, really thinking it through, what you would like your space to look like. And so that was step 1, which we've done in the other video, covered in the other video. So now what is step 2? And I found out for myself that step 2 is actually, for me, setting these goals above my stuff, or above the goal to hold on to stuff, or the temptation, I'd rather call it. And this really goes back to values, which is why it's great that this is in here. And I hadn't written that out yet, but this value is sort of, I wrote about my values where it comes to the clothing, like quality over quantity, and what fabrics I'd like, or organic. But this value is, it's also a question of what your values are, whether you value your stuff more or your free space more, whether you value your freedom more or your attachments. And that really needs to be clear, because how can we start decluttering a space, an area of the house, in this case the wardrobe, if we're not really clear what we value more? Because if we value the things more, holding on to them more than our freedom and these goals that we have set, and these goals can obviously, as I said, it's very personal, so look different for every person. But once you know what that is, it's really important to know that for yourself, and it's equally important to know whether you value your freedom more than your attachments. Because when you do, then you're more likely to act like it, and that includes taking care of it in a way where you actually create that free space that you want, or you actually establish that freedom for yourself, and make sure that you can enjoy that freedom once you know this is actually more important to you. And where it's not, please know that it, you know, is not necessarily true that whatever you may be thinking you are wanting to achieve, or thinking you're achieving with hoarding onto things, isn't necessarily achieved by it, and in most cases isn't achieved by it. For example, we think we feel a certain way when we wear this, or I mean, you want to feel joy, okay, but if sometimes we may think other people will think of us more like this if I wear this, or I might be better, I might be worth more, I might be more beautiful. And ultimately, when we think that way, when we kind of settle for attempting to fix that void with clothing in this case, or any things, then we aren't really getting to the root cause of it. We don't even often see the void that's there, and it's something I have learned throughout my journey from where I've come from. So know that it's definitely worth another look and to re-evaluate that. At least it would be for me, because it only makes sense because what you maybe really wanted in those examples were looking beautiful. How does it make you, so ultimately how does it make you feel? So it goes back to maybe self-esteem or feeling worth more, and you want to feel worth a lot. Well, know that you already are anyway. You already are, and no clothes in the world can really give us that. So that sense of completion that we want is never really fulfilled with things, with stuff. So owning more of them won't really fix it. It isn't fixing it, hasn't been fixing it, even when it may feel that way. So you're tackling it at the surface and it's not really getting dealt with, and you deserve for that to be dealt with. And especially in cases where there is pain, underlying pain there, you deserve for it to be looked at rather than, and acknowledged and healed, rather than just fed some more stuff on top, quite literally in a way, because that really surface fixing, but even in a physical sense, just putting another item on top of the pile, it really doesn't cover it. It might cover it in a way where it covers it from view from ourselves, but and really covers the free space, but it doesn't really, it's not enough. And so when something doesn't work, that is the question, if that's really the value a person has, or if they're overlooking something that really needs attention. So I wanted to put out there that it's very much worth looking at that in deeper depth and not concealing it from ourselves with concealer and makeup products and clothing and everything. Because if it's not effective, which we have established it's not, we overlook that fact a lot, but it ultimately doesn't, if it ultimately doesn't actually get to being that completion that we wanted, then what's the point? If it only means spending more money on things we don't need and then having, in a way, a bigger problem because we'll have more things to tackle, then is it really worth it? So that's what I wanted to share. So that is definitely my part 2. It's a small step, but a very, potent one, and very important one. So I decided that for myself that it that I will value these goals more than holding on to things, than the things themselves. Otherwise, I know I will sit there and then there's a me of being surprised as to how come this pile didn't magically become any less. If we have chosen that for ourselves, even if it's subconsciously, if that's what we want, ultimately we will get what we wanted. So if we want freedom and a free space, then we'll have to, when we know that for ourselves, then we are more likely, we can consciously choose to act like it and actually make sure that we get what we deserve. And we do deserve freedom and a free space, and a space that feels, whatever it is you write down in your worksheet, let me say, that feels peaceful and calm and harmonic, etc. Right. Was there anything else I hadn't covered? I believe that's kind of it. I ended up talking some more about attachment. I think maybe some of that will be in the other part of that video, if I even put this out there still, but I might as well. Then you hear the words maybe said a little bit differently, and you can see it from a little bit, not a different angle, but just like new words to describe the same thing, so it will serve the understanding in depth. So that would be great. And another thing is, now it's out here on video, so people will hold me accountable or might hold me accountable, so I'd better stick with that. But you know, I'd better make a difference in this wardrobe. But like, this is an important thing to decide for yourself, to know for yourself, because at this point, if you decide for yourself, I don't really care what my house looks like as long as I have things, then, you know, if you don't decide it and it's just a subconscious thing, you can do this thing I used to do called pretend decluttering, where you try and you think you're decluttering but you're not getting anywhere and you feel stuck. And it was almost like I was dealing with everything as a sentimental item, because I had such strong attachments to my things that everything felt like sentimental to me. So, you know, you really want to avoid that. But again, I would definitely suggest taking a deeper look at it rather than just saying, oh hey, I really don't care what my place looks like. Because ultimately, when somebody has strong attachments to like everything, in most cases there is pain buried underneath that whole pile of things, and that simply isn't the long-term fix. So really, and even work with somebody if you need to, you know, there's no shame in that. Or, you know, obviously you're watching a video like this that can help you or help you out, and y'all, even, I know there's probably a broad range of people watching this, but everybody has an interest in decluttering enough to be watching this. So anyway, like, pain doesn't really deserve to just be buried and continue to just like go unnoticed, right? So yeah, but again, just one more time, step 2 is deciding that these goals, or my freedom as I now call it, are more important to me than holding on to the things. Otherwise I will not be letting go of any, and that's kind of the overall goal of decluttering. So, but being really conscious of that, I think, is very helpful to be very clear on where you're trying to go with this decluttering journey of yours. And that being said, I would love to hear how your journey's going. Have you already started? What have you done? What not? Are you just watching this for fun? Has it inspired you to maybe start decluttering or tidying up your home? And especially whether you have utilized any of the points and goals I've mentioned, but any of the points, any of the steps I've mentioned. And excuse me please, and let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite one, which one was the one that stuck out most to you and that was the most useful for your life, or your decluttering life, your decluttering journey. So that would be very fun to know. If you made it till the end of this video, drop me either a like or a comment, maybe answering one of those questions, or if you'd like to share some of your own thoughts, of your own decluttering tips, would love to hear. And then I know that you made it till the end of the video. Well, maybe not, because some other people might have the same ideas. But drop me an answer to one of my questions and I'll know you watched till the end. Otherwise, you wouldn't have heard the questions. And thanks again for watching. I hope you liked this video, and I'll hope to see you back in the next one. So do return. Take care, guys. Thanks. Bye. Oh, wait a second. I always do this, but I would love to see a response video of declutter spaces, but I understand that not everybody feels up for that, so that's why I put these questions in, so you can reply to those. But if you have a video up, let me know. Okay, take care, bye.